Morning, everybody, and it is 8:39 on Monday, the 22nd, and this is your pre-opening comment. It is video number 1031. Asia is mixed. Europe is slightly higher. Dow futures are higher, but they are not as strong as they were at 7:30 when. They were up 104, currently up 83. NASDAQ 70 early, 74 now, so a little bit better. And the S&P was up 14, now up 12. Okay, Sony's Ghostbusters movie, 49 million over the weekend. That led ComScore. Vonage being bought by Ericsson, 6.2 billion, and that's about $21 a share. The stock is trading at 2059, up 422 or 26%. If you recall, this telephone company basically came out and traded well for the first couple of days, hitting a high of 17, and then falling as low as 34 cents. So obviously, Ericsson could have gotten a substantially better price a little earlier. Okay, China sues on monopolies. Alibaba, BIDU, Tencent. The only one that's really reacting to it is BIDU, which is down 259 or 1.7. Baba and Tencent are down less than 1/3%. Ford comes out and says there is no joint venture to develop a car with RIVN. So they are a passive investor, it seems, in RIVN, but they've made a ton of money on that. Activision's CEO, Kotick, quote, will leave if can't solve the cultural issues in the short term. The stock was downgraded this morning to a sell from a hold. It is currently only down 1.4% at 61.50, down 88 cents, but price has been lowered from 75 to 54, so about $7 below. ISPC. This is a research company here in Massachusetts, in Lexington. Up until today, it had a range of about 10 to 7 to 4 3/4. Currently, well, it closed on Friday at 492. And evidently, they collect samples and send them to CDC to measure immunity, etc., both positive and negative samples. The stock is $8.90, up 80%, $3.98. Adobe was upgraded from neutral to overweight. It's 695.06, up 669 or 1%. And ASTR, a meme stock, really, in the orbital launch over the weekend that was successful. The stock it closed at 970, traded as high as 1545, and the last is 1305, up 335 or 3.5%. And this one, I don't know what to make of. El Salvador to create a Bitcoin city. Okay, if anybody has any idea what that actually means, let me know. And they've raised $1 billion in a Bitcoin bond. So that part I understand. But what is a Bitcoin city, and how are you going to build it for only $1 billion? Is it going to be thatched huts? I have no idea. Okay, we also have Zoom earnings after the close today, so that ought to be pretty enlightening. The stock has really gotten pounded recently after being probably the biggest recipient of growth based on the pandemic and the variants that have come about. I would still expect it to see a little bit of a decline in the rate of growth, but I cannot imagine that it's not continuing to grow and that we're finished with COVID. And besides that, just on an economic value, I find it to be more attractive than sending people on planes to stay in hotels and eat, and eat in restaurants. So I'm not so sure. Okay, chart on the screen is the gold. Very disappointing. If you read my letter last night or saw my futures update on YouTube, you would know that I think this is very disappointing. Right now, we are down almost 15 again after Friday's action of being solidly up on the day and turning down and closing down $10. I'm assuming that this has more to do with the tapering and the fact that it looks like we're actually going to have rate rises, which is somewhat negative for gold. The oil was slightly lower last time I looked. Oil down a dime. Had traded below 75 to 74.76. This one is into an area of some pretty strong support, and it's right under the 100-day moving average. And this most important consolidation before moving to a new recovery high. It has rolled over clearly. The 5-day has gone through the 20, the 50, and as I said, we're headed towards the 100 right now. Bitcoin is again weaker. It's down it's now up 650, and Ethereum is down $9, so that's quite an improvement. And the bonds are down a half a point. As far as the other futures, excuse me, we had the lumber closing over 800 for the first time since it broke to the downside. We have the coffee slightly higher. We have copper down a little at 437.85 with a low of 435.20. And the grains are pretty much up across the board with the exception of oats, but that's a tiny market, and frankly, it's basically unchanged. The corn so far is, on a percentage basis, the big winner. All right, everyone. Have a good day. Be careful out there. Remember, this is a holiday shortened week, and that will bring some volatility into some of these names.